Good morning, guys. Only 9 more days left, and we are done with the school year. It feels hard to believe, but today we're going to talk about, we're going to get into one topic that you're going to use pretty much the rest of your schooling, and that is mean, median, and mode. And those are just fancy terms for organizing data. So, what is data? Well, look at the numbers below 8, 4, 5, 6, and 8. I don't know if some of you remember, but I used to sell coffee at the farmer's market in Kokomo. And I would have to know how many bags of coffee I was going to bring so that I could sell them to the customers. So the first week I was there, I sold 8 bags. The second week I was there, I sold 4 bags. The next week I was there, 5, and then 6, and then 8 bags again. And so it was tough, knowing how many bags I needed to bring each week. And so one thing I did was I made sure that I found out how many I normally sold and then brought a couple extra just in case, it was a busy week. And what I was doing is I was using the things that I had learned about mean, median, and mode to help me make informed decisions. Now, I didn't call it mean, median, and mode, but that's exactly what I was doing. Today, we're only going to be focusing on mean. Now, there are many ways to remember what each one of these terms, or the definition of each one of these terms, but I'm just going to ask you to commit it to memory. I will share a song with you later this week that Mrs. Wright did. That's pretty fascinating, but again, I'm just going to ask that you memorize this. So mean, whenever you see the word mean, I want you to think average. Now, for most of us, when I say find the average of something, we've heard that before, and some of you may even know exactly how to do that. If you know how to find the average of some numbers, then you know how to find the mean. To find the average, it's pretty simple. It's 2 steps. First, you add up all the numbers. Add up all the numbers. So we're going to do this at the number of coffee bags in just a minute. But to start, I would simply add up all of my coffee bags that I sold each week. So 8, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Then once you get that total, all you do is you divide by the total number of items. Now think back to estimation 180. Items would be days. So when we, at the end of 10 days, were to find our average, you simply added up all your errors and you divided by how many days you were here. And that was the same thing we're going to do today. All right, so let's take a look at these numbers. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these numbers up. So 8, 4, 5, 6, and 8. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 5 is 17, plus 6 is 23, plus 8 is 31. Okay, so let me just double check. 8 and 4 is 12, plus 5 is 17, plus 6 is 23, plus 8 is 31. So that means I sold 31 bags of coffee in those 5 weeks. Week 1 was up here, week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. All right, so now I need to take the total that I received and divide it by how many items I had, 5 weeks. So I will take the 31 and divide it by 5. All right, this is something we've done before. How many times does 5 go into 30 without going over? Well, 5 times 6 is 30, and that leaves me with 1 left over. Can 5 go into 1? No, because when you count by 5s, the first number is 5, which is too big. So don't leave the answer as 6 remainder 1. You can't have 6 remainder 1 coffee bags. All right, so this is going to be 6 and, remember how we did this? 1/5. 6 and 1/5. Now, I can't sell a fifth of a bag, but that is the average. So on the average week, I would sell about 6 bags. All right. You don't want to make a ton of bags of coffee and have a lot left over, because then those are going to go bad for the next week. So you want to make sure you have just enough. So I would make sure I would bring probably a couple more, 8, 9, 10, depending on if a week I thought was going to be busy. But I definitely didn't want to bring too few, where customers would come to my stand looking for coffee and they didn't have any, or I didn't have any. All right. So now it's going to be your turn to find the mean. So here's a list of numbers: 3, 5, 7, 4, 4, and 7. They can mean whatever you want. Maybe it's the number of siblings a kid has. Maybe it's how old kids are in a Sunday school room at church. I don't know. Whatever you want to make them. But these numbers can represent something. But what we're going to be working on is actually finding the average, which we call the mean of this data set. So if you remember, the first thing we do, if you need to rewind the video, you can, is add up all the numbers. So I'm going to go 3, 5, 7, 4, 4, 7. If I add those together, 3 and 5 is 8, plus 7 is 15, plus 4 is 19, plus 4 more is 23, and plus 7 is 30. So I put my 0, carry my 3, and that's 30. Now remember, I divided by how many items there are. So if we're talking about kids or coffee, whatever you want to do, we got to divide it by how many there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this worked out nice and neat, because we're going to take 30, which is our total down here, and divide it by 6. How many times does 6 go into 30 without going over? It goes in 5 times, because 6 times 5 is 30. You have 0 left over. So the answer would be, the mean of this would be 5. Okay, let's try one more. Here's a new data set: 25, 31, 22, and 14. What I want you to do is I want you to pause this video and you try to find the mean of this data set. All right, let's see how you did. Hopefully the first thing you did was add the numbers up. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 2 more is 8, plus 4 is 12. So you carry your 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 more is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So we get 92. Now, what am I going to divide this by? Oh, I just gave the answer away. I'm going to divide this by 4. Where did the 4 come from? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 items, so I'm going to divide that by 4. All right. How many times does 4 go into 92 without going over? Well, let's think about how many times 4 goes into 9. Just look at 9. How many times does 4 go into 9? It goes in twice, because 2 times 4 is 8. But remember, we still have a place value here. So we need to append a 0. So that becomes 20, because 4 times 20 is 80. When we subtract, we get 12. So 4 times 1 is 12, and that is 3. You're left with 0. So my answer is going to be 23. The average or mean of this data set is 23. All right, today you're going to be working on IXL v.5, and you're going to be trying to get to 80%. If you have any questions, please call me or email me and get those questions asked. Please do not be spending 45 minutes or more on this IXL. That is not the point, and you're not following directions by reaching out for help. Okay, so good luck and have a great day.